Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses, Season 1, Episode 5. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're picking up in the aftermath of last episode after Happy shows up, and her job, and we also find out it's been a month since she went out on her mission to kill Toto, and now it's kind of, she has to prove herself or she's going to get dragged back to train, because Happy, we find out, is her instructor, but I don't think they specified like whether it's just pure combat or whether she was her instructor in other facets of her training as well, because we saw she was studying and all this other stuff. Did she have other instructors who, covered those aspects, or is it just like Happy all the time? Whatever the case may be, it's like the fact is that it's taken this long to potentially kill the hero showcases she's not ready for her independence. So for Seal, there's a lot levied in this moment. There's a lot of, she's burdened by the fact that she doesn't want to go back because it'd be accepting defeat, that she can't stand on her own, and that was the whole point of all of this. But two, she even says later on, she's not above like the training and how rigorous it was. That doesn't matter to her. She's fine with that. She was willing to put up with all of that if it meant being better, if it led to her independence. Her biggest issue is her detractors. Everyone who ridicules her, saying that, oh, she's not good enough. It's like, oh, the only reason why she's gotten this far is because she has no talent. It's only because she's the heir to the throne. Which you think you probably wouldn't be so quick to talk. But I guess it's like, I don't know, does she have any other siblings? Because they make it seem like she's the only child of the Demon Lord. So I'm wondering, who else is she competing against? But I guess it's like, why would we ever want someone like you in charge? Because you are talentless. You're only getting this position by blood, So there are people who probably are by her side who do support her like Happy, but who knows? But it seems like a lot of detractors exist. A lot of people whispering behind her back, calling her talentless and stuff. So that's the extra motivation. So she's been kind of taking things at stride. She's like, I've been kind of holding back. And she was sentimental last episode. Them all hanging out and bonding really meant something to her. But she's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done with that. Like, it was kind of fun while I asked, but she sets the record straight with Anemone and Goa being like, if you get in my way, I will kill you too, along with killing the hero. So, and Goa's like, cool, that's fine. We're going to give you your shot. It's your chance today. So we're supporting you as both rivals and as friends. So we're going to give you the space to kind of have your shot, because they are exploring a D rank dungeon today. And basically they have to kill these death rats. And Seal's kind of taking a little bit of the strategy from the promotional one, where basically the door needed to be opened to drain his stamina. This time it's a totem, which each one has its own rules, and they're going to be more frequent as they explore dungeons going forward. And this one in particular drains defenses, so she amplifies it just like the stamina draining one and drops his defense to like 90%. Because she's noticed time and time again, it's like, right, like nothing really hurts him. So she was almost hoping like the physical traps will hurt him, but they mean nothing either. So it's like his defense is crazy powerful. So it's like, I need to wear him down and make it a little easier on myself. Because even as powerful as she is, probably her most powerful spell probably would still not do as much damage if he's just max buffed, as he normally is. So drains his stamina immensely, makes him faint, and then proceeds to strike. I mean, obviously there's the added pressure of she senses Happy nearby, and it's just kind of like adding to like, I need to see this through. I need to hurry up and do this. And she summons a giant scythe and she slashes him. Now, I'm curious when you think about it, because she says like one more strike is going to do it. I think it's interesting, even with his defenses lowered, it still took 2 strikes. But I'm also wondering, even with that first strike, even though she hesitates to do the second strike, what if the first strike wasn't at full power? Like, what if she still held back on the swing? I mean, you could make the argument maybe she could have been just testing the water to see if she actually could hurt him before going full force. But I think it's like, I think there's so much going through her mind. It's an amalgamation of a lot of stuff. And so when the time comes, before she can do the second strike, all she can think of is Anemone and Goa because it's like it did matter. This whole thing mattered to her because, as we learn from Happy later on, like making friends outside of like outside of her own family, which kind of indicates like it isn't just her dad. I mean, we don't know what the mom situation is, but like I said, maybe they talked about her having siblings. I don't remember. Like, the fact is that they're ridiculing Seal makes me feel like, well, if you're feeling this way about her and she's the heir, it must mean that there are other heir candidates, right? But not unless this is like a Tower of God situation with the princesses. I was about to say that not unless it's like the princesses of Jihad or the Jihad princesses, but it's like, no, like they clearly say like she's got royal blood, so it's not like, if you've never watched Tower Gods anime or like read the webtoon manhwa, essentially like the king of the Tower, Jihad, like adopts princesses from different families and basically make them his pseudo children. So I was thinking like, not unless that ends up being why that critique of Seal exists, because they think she didn't earn it. But once again, the whole point is the critique is because she didn't earn it, because she just gets fast tracked because she has a royal blood. So that's kind of a moot point. But yeah, that was just something I was thinking about for a second there. But getting back to the point I was making, like outside of her family and close friends that she already has, she never really interacts with people. Understandable, because like she kind of doesn't trust people because so many people are so like bad mouthing her behind her back. But for her, it's like these strangers are people she grew to kind of care about. And, you know, it coincides with like her independence is so much fun because she's able to have it with these people. They've kind of heightened that experience. And so when the time comes, she just kills the death rats behind him and hesitates to go for the kill with the hero. And he's beating himself up because he's like, man, I let you down. Like, I'm supposed to protect you. In fact, he does like kill the death rat behind her because she for a second thought like, oh, did he find out about me being, you know, trying to be the one to kill him? But it's like, no, the hero is none the wiser. And so together they end up, you know, having each other's back, and they end up killing the death rats. And so when they go back, Seal kind of pretends like nothing happened. Well, she did heal him with just a basic healing spell. And so when he goes back, he gets proper treatment. I am curious how true it is when Anemone was like, oh yeah, I don't know any intermediate healing spells. I only know like the basic ones. But she's asking questions like, yo, I've never seen him hurt before. Like, you could have finished him. And she's like, well, I got tired, so I didn't do it. So Nemene's like, well, do you mind if I take a shot while he's weakened? And it's like, no, it's still my day, so you don't get to like jump the line in this moment. It's like, okay, fine. But both Anemone and Goa both notice that after this whole experience that Seal seems to have lightened up. But I think, no, that's like the next day. So I skipped over a pretty important event. Like, Seal knows what this meant, that she failed to kill the hero. So it's like, I'm going to get dragged back. And so she doesn't put up much resistance. She's like, right, I did, when the critical moment came, I didn't pull the trigger. So go ahead. And, you know, from Happy's perspective, it's like, okay, my judgment is you get to stay and continue on this adventure of your independence. Because for her, it's like, yeah, you might have failed to kill the hero, but my assessment was all about seeing whether or not you could be independent. And it's like, the fact is the speed and strength in which you show with your spell casting, but also like how well you're getting along with people, shows that, you know, you can be independent, that you've grown in just a month you've been away, you know. Showcases how many leaps and bounds she's grown even just under Happy's tutelage. And it's just like, the fact is you would never even reach out to other people, try to like communicate with other people, because she kind of like put herself on an island in comparison. Once again, if she's already close to you, sure, but like reaching out to people she doesn't know, like that's kind of nigh impossible, because she had so much of that resentment and baggage because so many people like ridiculed her and looked down upon her. But for Happy, it's like, well, she's happy to see this side of the princess. But it's also like, I also get the feeling, and she's like, you're in love with the hero, aren't you? And she's so happy for her, because she's like, oh, how romantic, how scandalous that, you know, the demon princess and the hero, like, oh, like such forbidden love. And as her like tutor, she couldn't be more happy about it. So her word is probably enough to like, I wonder, because it seemed like Happy did this on her own. It doesn't seem like she was necessarily ordered by the demon lord to come do this. It seemed like this is something she did of her own volition, just because, hey, this is my student and I want what's best for her. And it seems like she's continuing to grow on her own, and and she's gotten some good people around her, people she cares about, because it's like, I'm seeing you smile in a way I've never seen you smile around others. So I'm like, I think this has been a good experience for you to continue growing. So I think this journey will prepare her whenever she potentially eventually maybe takes up the throne. Like, I think this is all part of that journey, which is interesting considering, like, well, Toto's journey is also to, take your father down. So, a little conflict of interest there. Eventually, those two worlds will collide. But, I'm sure Seal isn't thinking that far ahead, because she's probably thinking, well, I'll probably kill him long before then. But we'll see. Obviously, just for the context of the story, once again, having never read the manga, where things are currently in the manga, I would just assume, that becomes harder and harder because you become more and more reluctant to kill him. So I can just assume based on where the story is already, and that's just going to become more and more of a thing going forward. But either way, getting to the point I was bringing up earlier, Goa and Anemone are kind of like, okay, he's noticing that Seal's better, that she's not as down as before. In fact, even Toto noticed it, and he was just kind of feeling bad because he didn't know what to really do, because he wanted to ask her about it, but he just couldn't bring himself to do it. And so Goa, teasing him a little bit, is like, no, but don't worry about it. Like, Seal is definitely feeling much better. So, they are able to continue this frenemy situation that they've got going on. I also love the little tiny subplot about how Anemone normally dresses as a priest is very covered up, and so when she wears what she normally wears, it's too stimulating for the hero. They even went out and got her new clothes, and still same reaction. But I love Seal's takeaway as like, no, Anemone doesn't have any like special killer sex appeal or anything like that. It's just that the hero is just so weak when it comes to women. That's all it is. It's less her strengths, more his weaknesses. So. Oh, and their big plan going forward is to go on an expedition. It's like, oh, we're not just going to go like a journey for a few hours away. It's going to be a couple days. So, and obviously the passing of days also means the passing of whose chance is going to be to try and step up next to kill the hero. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see where all of this ends up taking us going forward into the next episode. What that expedition looks like, what adventures they come across, and what they experience, and so it's going to be interesting to see. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.